All right, I knew if I didn't cover this, you guys would be pretty darn upset, but I'm doing it. Here we are. Welcome in. Welcome. Everybody take your seats starting from the back, and welcome to the video talking about DC Fandom 2021. So I'll say this right now, not too much to talk about. It has a date, and that's pretty much it. There obviously I think it's going to be a very similar thing to what we got last year, and we'll talk about that in a second, but there's just not too much going on about it. Let me say this early in case I have any new people or in case anybody was wondering. We will be covering it like crazy. There's zero doubt about it. While there's not too much to talk about right now, there certainly will be as we get closer. So there will be predictions videos. There will be things that I want there, things that I don't want there. And then when the event actually happens, my God, we'll be covering it. By October, I expect to have 50,000 subscribers. I don't think that'll be too difficult whatsoever. So we may be doing live. We may co-stream it. We may do live streams. We'll do videos during the events, all that stuff. So it's going to be a massive, massive thing. So buckle up because here we go. So, again, we know it's October 16th. That is the date of DC Fandom. Now, I guess one thing to note about that is they gave us one day. Now, remember, last year, I believe it was originally supposed to also be one day, but remember there was all the drama and rumors that happened with their not even rumors, because they fired or they kind of destroyed their comic book division just a few months before DC Fandom, and then they delayed that part of the event. That part happened in September, right? So the DC Fandom was August 22nd, and then a few weeks later they kind of did the comic booky part. Now, again, I'm not going to lie to you guys. You maybe know me by now. I don't do comic books. I don't do any of that stuff. Honestly, I don't even do the TV shows. So when it comes to DC Fandom, the reason I'm there, or what I'll be covering mainly, is movies and its games. Those are the two big things. And obviously, I expect both of them to be there. Now, we'll go over some predictions right here because I know I'll be asked the questions. So we'll kind of get them all out of the way. But again, with that being said, remember, as we get closer, I'll do kind of individual videos. So I'll make a whole video on Injustice 3, whole video on Gotham Knights, Suicide, all that kind of stuff, okay? So just so we're all kind of clear. But with it happening in October, honestly a little weird in terms of timing because, it's a little bit after August. The summer is, normally, obviously they did that last year, and I think it worked out really, really well. I mean, the 22nd was a Saturday last year. The 16th is a Saturday, so while it's happening during, school time for people that are in school, it's happening on a weekend, so I think a lot of people will be able to tune in. But again, I think the biggest thing that originally jumps out to me is that it's all going in one day. So we're going to get the movie stuff in one day, the TV show stuff, the games, all the comic book stuff. I remember there was a cosplay section kind of last year. Now they didn't, as far as I know, and you can go on their website and they have the date. It's just one page. I don't think they have anything, at least right now that I'm recording this, they don't have anything else, no super long blog post that kind of explains it. So I assume they will detail it more as we get closer. But as of right now, it's kind of just, we know that, and I guess we expect similar things to what we got last year to happen this year. So here's what I would predict to kind of get the blanket predictions out of the way, and then that'll probably be it for this video. Batman, or The Batman, I think would be the biggest thing that they push very, very hard. That would come out within 6, 7, 8 months, after DC Fandom. It's after the Suicide Squad, so you can't really do anything for that. So I would imagine Batman. Aquaman 2 is filming this summer, so maybe you can, I don't know. I mean, if it takes even, and these kind of movies are kind of big deals and they take a long time, but say it starts in June, say it films for 4 months, maybe, I mean, it would be done filming right before it. But again, you'd have conversations with people, so I think it's possible that maybe we can talk, that not we, but they would talk to Jason Momoa, James Wan. I swear to God, if Amber Heard is there, I'll be pretty upset, but maybe the cast of Aquaman 2, so that would probably be a big deal on the movie side. Maybe you'd have some info on Wonder Woman 3. One thing that would, basically stand out would be Zack Snyder's Justice League. If you were going to do a Justice League 2 and 3, or you were to do something with HBO Max or something along, literally anything along those lines, DC Fandom would be a phenomenal place to do it. So that's something that I would also maybe keep my eye on. And then gaming-wise, yes, everybody, Gotham Knights, I think would 100% be there. Suicide Squad that killed the Justice League, I think would 100% be there. And honestly, I would wager a bet that something like an Injustice 3 would be there as well. If Injustice 3 is indeed their next game. We just talked about this yesterday as a rumor that the next game that they make may be a Marvel fighting game. It may not actually be Injustice 3. So if they're not doing Injustice 3 as their next game, it will not be there. It's pretty much as simple as that. I'm sorry to disappoint the people that ask me every 5 minutes, but that's the case. What's more interesting to me, obviously I'm a gaming guy. I mean, I do like the DC movies. I've covered quite a few of them. I will be covering them basically all going forward, right? So I'm big into movies, but gaming is I guess, more of my speciality. The interesting thing is Warner Bros. Also has, or they're also going to E3. So when we talk about, again, Gotham Knights, Suicide Squad, all that stuff, last year, remember, there was no E3. They were going to go to E3, and they pretty much shuffled their DC stuff they were going to do at E3 into DC Fandom. And you could argue they shuffled Hogwarts Legacy, which very well would have happened at actually, not even very well. It would have happened at E3 if there was one. They shuffled that and they didn't give it to, but it showed up at Sony's State of Play. That was in September. So what I'm trying to get at here is last year, the gaming stuff that was at DC Fandom, there were 2 games, Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League and Gotham Knights. Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League was announced beforehand. Remember, they showed the poster of Superman, and then the trailer was shown there, and then Gotham Knights was for the first time shown there. So, gaming-wise, they took around 15 minutes of our time, which wasn't a lot, right? I guess there was, the interviews with them as well, but that was all they had, and that was because they weren't at E3. So, maybe a little bit more of a negative viewpoint on it, but I wonder how heavily they would do stuff. And I guess even more of a negative thing, depending on how you want to look at it, which one kind of gets the short end of the stick? Does Warner Bros. Now, again, they could have the Monolith who makes the Shadow of War, Shadow of Mordor, the Middle-earth games. They could be at E3. Hogwarts Legacy could be at E3. A lot of other, even Lego Star Wars could be at E3. A lot of these games that also are owned by Warner Bros. But are not DC could be at E3 as maybe along with something small from Gotham Knights. And then at DC Fandom, you can really do it. Again, I mean, really, the only 2 things we know for certain that are DC are those 2 games, Suicide Squad and Gotham Knights. And yes, you could do an Injustice 3 announcement. Maybe they have there's always been that rumored Superman game kind of in the background. So I think they could do something like that, but it could very well just be the leftovers of E3, or maybe E3 kind of gets the short end of the stick, and then all the stuff is at DC Fandom. I think we will have a much clearer picture of what we'll get DC Fandom gaming-wise, at least gaming-wise, by the end of June. Once we see their E3, once we see what they do at E3, I think we'll have a very good idea of what they're going to do. I truly do believe that at DC Fandom, okay? But with that being said, again, very exciting. I feel like we knew this. You guys will have to correct me in the comments because people have been asking me about DC Fandom the last couple of weeks, and I always thought that they confirmed there'd be a DC Fandom 2021 the day after this one, or the day after 2020's DC Fandom. I swore they confirmed there'd be one, so it shouldn't, at least that, maybe I made that up. Maybe I literally created that in my mind, but it shouldn't be a surprise. At least it's not a surprise to me that DC Fandom is happening this year. It's just that now we finally get a date. Again, a little bit later instead of August. It's in October. Big whoop. Literally 2 months extra. We have to wait. No big deal. Again, there will be so much coverage of this. We'll be at 50K, so I'll be able to show my face, and we'll do live streams, we'll do videos, and all that good stuff. Okay, so lots of huge things coming. With that being said, if you guys want to check all that stuff out or you want to be notified, make sure if you haven't already, you are subscribed, have the bell icon turned on, give this video a like so YouTube spreads it out. As you can see, we are getting very close to 50K. We need your guys' help. Liking the video, commenting helps push it. And again, if you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button and be a part of whatever you want to call ourselves. We don't have a name for what the community is. I always just imagine it's like the Podcast Now community, okay? But maybe we can come up with a fun name. So thank you all so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. I hope to see you all on the next video.